to prove a point. We three kings just believe that you don't want to tussle with them. This show is thunder. Subscribe and tune in, and you're laughing to the very end. Don't turn your back on the dad pack. Don't turn your back on the dad pack.
Put the kids to bed. Dad's home. We are the DWO podcast, representing the dad world order. I am the handsome head of household, Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. And with me, as always, the rest of this patriarch pack, we've got the big bad bearded daddy. He is Big Rig Eric Maffey.
Honk if you hear me, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. And he is the perpetual mid-carder and the two-time road record holder. He is the wrestling t-shirt guy, Cephas.
Cowabunga on a special Wednesday episode. We're on day 1230. Big Rig, tell them who we got tonight.
I'll tell you what, tonight's a special one, fellas. We have, the accolades I could go on about. We're just going to go ahead. The voice of John Redcorn from King of the Hill, Mr. Ken Hotate from Parks and Rec, Mr. Jonathan Joss. Sir, how the heck are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. A friend of mine used to say, the water's poison, people are dying. Other than that, everything's cool.
Absolutely. Everything's good other than that, for sure.
Yeah, man. Perfect. No, I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for having me here, and thanks for not only your fans that have tuned in, but for the people that are jumping on board to listen to an old man talk, man. Thank you.
Hey, we're so honored to have you here, man. This is really a cool moment for all of us. We're all fans of you, kind of in different ways. I know some are bigger. Some of us are bigger, King of the Hill fans. Some of us, I've watched Parks and Rec. I don't even know how many times. So seeing you on that. I just want to tell you, I wish you were wearing a bolo tie right now so I could just tell you that's a dope bolo.
I got them for my son, and he was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
I no longer wear them, and as far as Coinsy the wolf howling for you,
yeah,
and you kick anything hard enough, it's going to howl.
That's right.
Now, talking about slot machines, of course.
Now, I got to tell you, Eric's kind of speaking about me. I have seen every episode of King of the Hill probably 15 times each, right? But I had never seen Parks and Rec, and then when we booked you on, they were telling me all about your role on Parks and Rec, and I dove into that show, and I gotta say, man, you're definitely a light amongst it. Some of your quips,
thanks, man.
How much of that is scripted, and how much of that is just you goofing around, or do they kind of give you a direction?
No, man. Native people have been given directions since 600 years ago. We're not allowed to do anything without the direction of the white man. So whether it be film, TV, political voting, anything, our bodies, we have to get approval from the white man.
Sure.
So to answer that question, very scripted, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're working with a genius group, man. Comedians that I would say are, the Lucille Ball depth,
right.
Writers, great, producers, creators, like that great guy. I can't remember his name, but one of them was great. But I think for me, it was John Redcorn with pants.
Yeah. Okay.
John Redcorn in real life, but with a stand-up position.
Sure.
A lot of native characters, like any guest star, usually has no depth to it. Usually they pop in, they pop out. They don't have a consistent, plot line throughout a series.
Sure.
And I think, along with John Redcorn, that has a plot line that goes through the series, same as Parks and Recreation. Ken Hotate was there for a reason. Most times you see native people being issues, being a problem, whereas the solution, to different issues in, Parks and Rec is the native influence. I mean, one of the reasons that LA hasn't broken off and fallen into the ocean is because of what native gaming brings to Los Angeles, Really? So it's a great feeling to be a part of a show that is true. Mm-hmm. We are native people. We do have something to add to a community, other than alcoholism, bad driving. We have a value for life.
Is that a
Sure.
thing?
And I think Ken Hotate shows that. You know, when he says, a Native American tribe signing a deal with the government. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? One of my favorite. I remember the first time I heard that, I laughed so hard because it was just.
Did you, white man?
I did, and
Yeah.
You're gonna make me laugh. I got a cough. I can't.
It popped me so hard when you said the disappointment line, because that was the line I think I remembered the most out of that entire episode.
It's truthful. I mean, everybody has a parent, evidently, and some of our kids. And for Ken just to say, you know, it's such a disappointment, you know, because he's saying what people want to say. By the way, I want to say thank you to Screen Actors Guild. I'm in their office right now using a plugin.
Nice.
So thank you, Screen Actors Guild, for allowing me here. But yeah, man, it's such a fun character when it's not only self-deprecating, but when you're self-deprecating on a whole group of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I like doing stand-up, but I do it sitting down. And that, well, let's see what happens. You know, a Holocaust against my people, land being taken, trees broken. Who else could be funnier than me? You know? Because like anybody in any life, we as human beings on planet Earth all deal with the exact same thing. We all have the exact same issues. We all have the exact same problems. Being human in a world that forgot what being human is about.
Yeah.
So,
Very much so.
To be representational of a group and also, you know, a solo individual, it's nice to make people laugh, man. I've had the worst 3 years of my life, and the only thing that's gotten me through it is laughing and my fans. And to know that I'm not the only person in the world, and you're not the only person. I mean, I've had people help me that I don't even know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then again, I've worked for some major companies. My house is burnt down. For 2 years, I told people my home was going to be burnt down by neighbors. Nobody believed me. And for finally to have the ultimate loss and have people that I've worked for not to give me a freaking call, but to have people donate $1 here, $5 there. Thank you, fans. Thank you for picking up what other people put down.
Sure.
Well, I think a lot of it goes with what you provide to us, man. As the characters that you play bring us a lot of joy, and you know what I mean. I think people like to reciprocate that. And for anyone that's in our comments, what he's speaking about is he just lost. This was your family house too, right? This is your family house that you've had for a long time, correct?
Yeah, it was. I grew up in the home. Yeah.
Oh man.
Since 1957, my dad built the house for my mom in 1957.
Damn.
Yeah. So he just lost his house, and he didn't have insurance at the time. So I mean, that's a huge loss. And he just moved across the country, right? You just moved back to LA. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Right. I went to North Carolina to be with my husband, and things there, you know, beyond our control. So I'm relocating again. I'm in LA now, staying at a friend's house for the next 4 days, and then I'm off to Austin for the reboot reunion or reboot panel they're having.
Okay.
Which I was not invited to, and via Fox basically said that I'm a guest star, not an original cast member. Therefore, no invite was ever extended.
What?
I only did 24, 25 episodes, but he's featured in like 50 or 60. And again, as I said earlier, it is a pulse that goes through the show. When are you a guest star? When are you a star? When are you an original cast member? I mean, I'm an original person. So,
I mean, to me though, John Redcorn is a core plot line of that entire show. I mean, that's
right. Yeah, sorry about
that's Nancy and Dale's whole relationship.
Sorry about the sound and people coming and going, and I have to fix that place. Sorry about that. People are like living their life.
You're good, brother. This podcast lives this life, man. We're flying the seat of our pants.
Yeah, man. It was this or the alley out front. But yeah, man. It's great to be alive. You know, my husband and I are relocating in Los Angeles again. I had a boat here for 20 plus years, but due to my mistakes, I've lost it. So it's interesting to be 60 years old, somewhat homeless, and a new marriage that's completely changed my life, man. I'm married to the most incredible man I've ever met. and to be newly homeless and newly gay, evidently, is I'm tackling it. I mean, does art represent life? Does art, vice versa, does it, picture what happens in real life? I mean,
Right.
there were episodes, is it just me or John Redcorn gay? Interesting. And even when I was dating someone that was much older than I was, they had plot themes in there where he was dating an older person. So it's almost the best form of compliment is to be duplicated.
For sure.
Like I said, I'm so happy for the fans. I'm so happy for the cast of King of the Hill. To say I'm disappointed not to be invited, who wouldn't be? My dad used to shine shoes out in front of this theater. And somebody out of the goodness of their heart is donating a ticket, that $500 ticket he's donating me, so I can go in and ask a couple of questions. Well,
Okay.
I got a couple of questions to ask. I got a couple of questions to ask.
I love that.
And more importantly, this wonderful theater in Austin, Texas, my dad in 1928, my dad shined shoes in front of this theater.
Wow.
And my dad's born 1912,
Yeah.
For me not to be able to get into, I can get into it for $500, but I'm owing it to my dad that I'm taking a shoebox, man. I'm going to be shining shoes out in front of the Paramount Theater for two reasons. One, to honor my dad, and two, I need rent money, man. I need a place to live.
Hey.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Hey, man. But I'm gonna do what my dad did. My dad just shoe shine a nickel, right?
Yeah.
He shined one shoe. The guy put his shoe up there and said, shoe shine. Didn't say shoes. So I'll be done with one shoe, $5. You want two shoes, $10. If you want to walk around with half a shine, that's fine.
It doesn't say shoes shine.
There we go.
Honestly, that's genius marketing. I love it.
But it's great to be a part of this reboot. And as I was saying, I'm just so happy for the fans. Yeah. I'm happy for the fans who have been so patient and so accepting, of this reboot, not only as a whole, but the acceptance of me coming back. I haven't seen it. If you call Disney, they tell you they don't know. But all I know is I did 4 episodes. I'm very happy with them. I don't know. I'm going to give a shout out here. I don't know if I should be able to or not, but Alamo Beer is coming out. It's being based out of San Antonio, Texas. There's a distillery or brewery in San Antonio that I've known for years. Has bought the rights for Alamo Beer.
Yes.
And it was so nice that, grapevine was, I know, blah, blah, blah. Is he in the production? We don't know. So this is where Disney could really stand up for a native actor right now, for any type of actor.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just say, hey, man, any little, I'm not trying to get something for nothing. I'm really not. But at the same time, thank you, fans, for picking up where those that have not.
Yeah.
And those that have less have. So thank you guys so much,
You figured, with all the effort you've put into your work throughout the years, that you would have more of a structure behind you that would be like, we have to protect this man. You know what I mean? It's great that you can rely on fans, but it's kind of weird that there's not some kind of protection available in a way, like an insurance, if you will. You know what I mean? Like to make sure that you're taken care of.
Well, I've it's how many times can you be a guest star? How many times can you be a co-star? When are you part of the clique?
Guest star to me is Chuck Mangione. You know what I mean? He's on like 3 episodes in the whole series. You know what I mean? Like you said, John Redcorn, even when you're not in the episode, is in the episode. He might be washing a vehicle or something. You know what I mean? Like he's always in the background of stuff or in the stands at the football games.
Could you now? I may be reaching here, but can you fathom someone taking your likeness or taking the likeness of a certain populace and then applying it to a hit program and not getting any bill for it at all?
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
I don't blame you for feeling some type of slighted, man. It's definitely like, especially.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not an angel. I have stood up for fights that maybe I shouldn't have. But at the same time,
Who hasn't?
right, it's these times that really make me feel alive because, again, those that don't have a lot are helping me, man. And maybe I didn't look at it the right way, maybe I wasn't appreciative enough, and then you feel sad towards the system because when you've told a police force for 2 years, neighbors are telling you that they're going to burn your house down. Your house ends up being burnt down and they can't, mark off arson. They're not positive it wasn't arson or not, and then when I had my home getting ready to be bulldozed by an evil ex-wife and an evil San Antonio, Texas, even though the house was in my name, they took out my electricity. They took out my water. I was there for like 7 months trying to survive with no water, no electricity. It was horrible, and when you go to a system and ask for help and they tell you, well, because you're messed up. Well, yeah, all right. Like I was telling you, I'm not the perfect angel, man. But sometimes people need to investigate and not go off the idea, well, he's just a drunk. Yeah. More imposed, more, he's just a drunk Indian. Or he's just high. He's just a high Indian.
That shit hits home with me, man. My grandfather was heavy into alcohol for a while, you know what I mean? And people with my mother too. I mean, I won't go too deep into her stuff, but she's had her struggles with things, and people discount her, and people just kind of think that she can't be good again anymore. And my mom and I, we're on almost 3 years without fighting with each other, and it's the closest we've ever made it in our entire relationship because I give her a chance to be somebody. And sometimes people don't let people make mistakes without holding it against them. And it sucks that it seems like that's kind of what's happening in a
way. God bless you. How appreciate your mom, man. Thanks for appreciating your mom.
Yeah. It's people deserve second chances, man. Even when those second chances happen 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You know what I mean? There are lines you can't cross. I'll give you that. But
no, exactly.
Mommy's only mommy,
I remember I got SAPD came over one time to intervene, and I was having a bad day, and it was. Are we still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay, got to make sure I said something off. And of course, the officer says, "Do you feel like hurting yourself?" And I responded, "Yes." Boy, he was coming over with the cuffs, man. I said, wait a minute, what are you doing? He goes, you said you're going to hurt yourself. I said, well, I'm going to drink a couple of beers, and those beers aren't really great for my liver anyway.
He said it's a different kind of hurt.
I mean, you can go to McDonald's and have a Big Mac. Is that good for you?
No. So you're technically hurting yourself.
I'm not trying to make light of anything. It's just trying to be funny, try to be animated in a cartoonish world should be easy, but to be a cartoon in an unanimated world, now there's the difficulty.
Well, and I feel like it depends on the person too.
And it's so much fun just to be able to laugh at situations that some people wouldn't really laugh at. Being told, you can't have shoestrings because someone's afraid that you're going to hang yourself with them. And then telling them, hey, I could do the same thing with my socks. And they go, give me your socks back too.
Damn it.
So you find yourself walking in a ward with people going, you must be really crazy because you ain't got no socks or shoes. I mean, and one of my not hurting myself, it's just they felt that I needed a little assistance. And I remember sitting in the doctor's room, and the doctor asked me, go, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, Mr. Gonzalez. I said, well, Gonzalez is, my professional name is Jonathan Joss. I'm not a badass like my dad, so I go by Joss. Patient likes to be called by another name. I said, well, I am also the voice of John Redcorn, King of the Hill. Patient says he's a voice of a cartoon.
Oh gosh.
You know, and here I am during the period of COVID. I've got the mask on, and one of the doctors looked like a Z from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And I said, doctor, your other doctor there looks like a Z. Patient says so-and-so to my left looks like a letter from the alphabet. I'm like, no, dude, not a letter from the alphabet.
Aziz.
Yes. You know, then of course, you know, I'm flustered because number one, you know, I'm getting interviewed to go into a hospital, you know, so I'm kind of nervous, you know, because I'm not very good on tests. So he says, well, how do you find yourself here? I said, I don't know, about a case of beer, you know, a couple of grams of methamphetamine, half a pound of marijuana, and a cheese sandwich. He's like, boy, you sound like you've got a recipe. I said, yeah, but I think that cheese sandwich is what did me in.
How was that right until the cheese sandwich?
I mean, that's, you know, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make light of anybody's dependence, codependence, or existence.
For sure.
It's out there, man.
I appreciate how unapologetically you that you are. I feel like it's very important. The most authentic people I find are the coolest to be around. So I appreciate your candor in that. You know what I mean? It's not everyone. We're all about positive mental health here. We've had episodes about it. We talk about it. We've had some tearful moments on here, and we've had some joyful moments on here. So
and to embrace your knowledge. I mean, I'm 59 years old. My husband's 32, and
Damn.
yeah, and I'm just saying. But on social media, they called our relationship icky. Icky, and that my husband looks like a special little boy.
Oh, it's the internet's awful, man. Cephas went viral a couple weekends ago for his tattoo, and just the comments, you know, people just had the nastiest things to say. You know, he's come out of left field, like,
yeah,
you know, what happened if you don't have nothing nice to say? Don't say anything at all.
Exactly. I mean, but you've got to like somehow remain positive, and that's what's so great about my younger relationship is that I find myself making changes for that person you care about, at the same time learning like the old school ways, having a little bit of respect for who we are as human beings. You know, I mean, I'm from San Antonio, and the idea of being an Orijon, being able to listen and then making, and not only listening to the sound, but where the sound is coming from. You know, and to be in a town where the south side of San Antonio threw away what being original was and being respectful. I don't know whether it was people coming into the neighborhood, people leaving the neighborhood, or it's just about people losing that ability to understand that some people have our choices, you know, and sometimes our choices don't really hurt you. You know what I mean?
That's the core right there, man. It's your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. If you're not affecting me, who am I to say anything?
Right. And you know, not trying to speak down on anyone, because I am the luckiest person in the world. And I found someone that understands where I'm coming from, and being gracious enough to, I mean, ups and downs, man, you know, and so far all I've been showing were the downs, but ebb and flow, you know, like I said, so happy that King of the Hill's coming out. Hopefully something nice will happen out of it. Not for me, but for the people who watch the show, because it helps you get through the day, you know, and there's so many programs on television. I mean, Tulsa King, man. Tulsa King, the first season had Native Americans in it and had African Americans in it. And then by season 2, they're killing off one of the only Native people, you know, and you call yourself Tulsa King? I mean, I've got 8.4 million views with Sly. 8.4 million views, right? You would think they'd call me back. With 8.4 million views. I don't care. I didn't hurt anybody on set. Did I tell some people they were full of shit? Yeah, I did. You know, when someone on the set, this is something I haven't told anybody. When someone on the set has COVID.
Oh, shit.
Okay. And I'm sitting next to this actor. and they don't tell me, but they tell other actors. You know what I mean?
Wow.
All because I wasn't going to work 2 days from that day because I got a job on the res for 10,000. There's some people you don't say no to. I said no because I had to go to Indian country. I prayed on it all night long because I was going to Indian country. Ready? Potentially smallpox, COVID. How dare they do something like that and then make me out to be the bad guy?
Wow.
Because I never told anybody that. You know, this is a true story. And I'm going to out him, and I don't give a shit. There was an actor on set, right? A working actor, as he calls himself. Very proud of him. Good actor. We're sitting around chatting, blah, 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 blah. Guy comes, hey, Jonathan, they've got steak over there. Because I love steak, you know? And I ask, when you guys want to have steak? Oh, there's steak over there, Jonathan. I turn to go get steak, right? But I know it's a ploy. I'm an Indian. We know these things, you know? I turn around and I read the lips, COVID. Right? I get my food. This other young actor comes up to me and says, hey, man, I'm going to go eat in my trailer. I said, no problem, brother. I call him up from my hotel to his room and say, hey, man, you want to get together for drinks? Oh, no, man. I'm going to stay in my room. I said, dude, I know about the dude with COVID or the positive test. Don't worry about it, man. Oh, God. I'm so glad that somebody told you. See what I mean? And I didn't break that to anyone for 2 reasons. Miami Teamsters, right? Yeah. I don't fuck with Miami Teamsters. I don't mess with Teamsters. I love them. But I'm not going to stop a production because I hurt somebody's feelings who happens to be whoever. And then to throw me under the bus like that to where I had another episode I was supposed to be in. I got slighted. Got slighted on it. You know, I talked to the reason I'm doing this here, I talked to the Screen Actors Guild representative, Mr. Hernandez in Miami, about an episode that I was supposed to get 15 grand for that never happened. Huh. I tell him, hey, he goes, well, Jonathan, don't say anything yet. Wait till the end of the season. I mean, I'll wait till the end of the season and then nothing. Yeah. And then I have someone telling me, oh, Jonathan, we never told you that. Dude, any person alive will be going after $10,000 to $15,000 if it's owed to you, right?
Yeah. People die for less than that.
Of course. So to tell me I didn't go after it because you told me not to? Of course I did, because you're the union rep, man. Because the last thing I wanted to do was hurt feelings of the people on Tulsa King. Sure. Because it was a creative character, bad face. It was an amazing character. 8.4 million views, right? From an Italian, some wop coming to Oklahoma saying he's going to be a badass. Badface stood up to him. Badface represented the bad-faced native people. Okay, Black Elk, a Wishasha Wekong. Baddest of bad, man. He'd raise his hands and it would rain. They asked this man, of all the people in the world, who are you afraid of? He said, the bad-faced Lakota. Period. The creator who created this character, Badface, I knew about this. That's why there's that tension between Sly and I. I mean, we're like 2 old goats get ready to go at it. Hey, you knew that. You know, and what was even better was in there, the line was, have you ever been on a horse? Right? And he says, he ever been on unemployment? Right? The scene before that is great. I hear Sly go, hey, what's this Badface guy here? Cuckoo. Yeah. Nutty? What's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with him? What's wrong? This wasn't even the scene. My scene was prior to that. So when he shows up, my Indians are like, hey, man, you going to let that dude talk crap to you? I said, man, I got something for his ass. So the confrontation was, you ever been on a horse? He takes that deep breath. You ever been on a horse? In that breath, I'm an actor, man, just like he's an amazing actor. I stepped in and went, I don't mean a sissy Italian stallion. I mean a real fucking horse. What does he say? You ever been on life support? I could take 10 of you motherfuckers out. You feel froggy, you better jump. I'm in his face going, rip, rip. All that's cutting room floor. But what is there is, you ever been on a horse? His reply, you ever been on life support? Read the comments from 8.4 million people. People were like, what's up with Sly? Why is he getting mad at the Indian guy asking if you've ever been on a horse? But that's what you say. When is it written? When is it made up? When it is a coercion of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being a dad is being a father. Being a father is being a son.
Yeah.
Fear the Texas sun, man, because you will melt.
My girlfriend lived in Austin, Texas for 13 years. She's told me all about the Texas sun.
I'm telling you, man, beware the Texas sun, man. It'll make you melt. And I am a Texas son. I mean, it's so funny. My mom always said, what is it with you men? At about 60 years old, you turn gay. It's so funny.
Oh, that one then, huh?
You know, I mean, you know, it's funny.
Things
You know,
change.
and that your parents are always right. Your dad's always right. Your mom's always right.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know. But it just, to have this many viewers, you know, and then to say, why don't people take advantage of this native character that I've created? Like King of the Hill, I've kept John Redcorn alive. I've kept me alive. Thank you, Mike Judge. I used to sell barbecue spices and stuff, you know, until everything burned up in my house, you know. And for them to allow me to be this John Redcorn type of character is cool, you know. But then to say, hey, you know, and then to get, hey, man, you know, it's not our fault. You're not this. You're not. Come on, Hollywood, stand up.
Yeah.
All right, the third season of Tulsa King, they already said the second season was a joke. It was a black eye to the writer's creation. Come on, give me a chance. Give me a chance. You know, to entertain. I mean, right now, check this out. What was it? What state it was? The press used the Indian mob. Ready? The Indian mob. Excuse me, much respect. Don't talk about dead people, man. Much respect. They called the Indian mob, right? Then when the news broke it down, 200 people. An Indian mob took down an incredible hit, right? They only took out their own. No collateral damage. They took out who they needed to hit. The Indian mob. 200 people. I thought mobs were like thousands deep. But to be an Indian mob,
I don't
200
know.
people. So I say to Sheldon, to the people of Tulsa King, bring Badface back, man. Even Sly in episode 12 said, you know, that Badface guy, I kind of miss him. I was the only one that would stand up to him.
Yeah.
And the reason my character stands up and the reason people are concerned or threatened by a native person, we have nothing to lose.
I think it'd be great if they brought you back. Tulsa King was a referred show for my father-in-law, and I'm not the biggest fan of Sly. Not that I don't like him or nothing. It's just I don't really like actiony movies and stuff. But I liked Tulsa King a lot.
He's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing. You know, and he knows the camera angles. He knows. I mean, the one scene where we're beating everybody down with baseball bats, we're wearing the same color clothes. We're right next to each other. I think it still survived the show, man. Come back, get that native person. I mean, people ask, where's Badface at the funeral where they killed, you know, when Graham Greene was in it. Graham Greene's great, man. When Graham Greene says the white, oh, that's the white. That's what I said, the white. You know, our humor helps us get over the most difficult times in life.
Yes.
You know, I want to entertain even more so than never in my life have I wanted to entertain more.
Yeah.
You know, but you still got to stand for something. You know, and I haven't done anything in Hollywood that somebody hasn't done bigger.
Right.
But being a native person, you know, you're either a wise man, you're a drunk, or you're dead.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, I played cowboys and Indians. I was a cowboy. Why? If I was Indian, I get shot when I walk out of my house. I'm laying in the dirt for 12 hours in the hot sun. I'm dead. You know, who do you fear? The living? Or those who want to live, or those who have died?
Yeah.
No, fear yourself, man.
It's interesting.
It's honestly, it's weird to hear anybody use the term Indians, though. I feel like I don't hear that a lot anymore.
No.
I feel like it's, you know, the world has progressed enough to be a little more sensitive, at least in that aspect, you know, toward.
No, but when you look at, when I say Indian, there's two forms of school from where I'm coming from. You look at a man who was lost, who thought he was going through India, okay? Therefore, the people they're inhibiting. Or you look at someone like I'm sorry, not Graham Greene, Russell Means. When you think about it, Columbus didn't speak Spanish. He spoke Latin. So when he saw these beautiful people, well, walk with me now. He saw images that walked to God, indios, and to God we walk. So to be Indian, if you look at, or the translation, perhaps he knew where he was. Even though he was on that passage to India for the spices, I mean, all those spices and white folks still don't season their food. But
touche.
that was my husband's joke. So thank you, dude. So writing material for me. So yeah, exactly. So indios. So when I say Indian, I come from the Russell Means School, one of the founder members of AIM, American Indian Movement, indios, because into God we would walk, with God we walked, indios. You know.
That's interesting.
But good on your schooling there, brother, on the Indian Native American. Yeah, man.
Hey,
Yeah, man.
Learned something on the Dad World Order podcast today.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, the Gulf of America versus the Gulf of Mexico. Hey, man. All right.
Tomato, you know. Matter.
Yes.
Did people get naming rights for it? I mean, like, what the hell does it matter? You know, like, geez, pick your fights.
I just called a bunch of tequila, and everybody would be happy.
Hey, you know what? No matter what that thing's named, I really enjoyed going to that beach and swimming in it. So
yeah.
I love.
They can call it Turd Puddle. I'm still gonna go look at it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We call it Turtle Island. But,
yeah.
No, man. No, Corpus. Love Corpus a lot. Very, very, very friendly. Very nice. And to be in a forum with you dads is amazing. You know, and that is so representational of so many things. You know, everything from the person you look up to the person you want to be like, also the person you love. You know, and any relationship, you have the struggles of who's the dad, who's the mom, who's the husband, who's the wife. You know, when it's all of them. Yeah. I'm learning this as an older person. Them. Sure. What's in a pronoun? You know, you say a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
Them over there.
Dude.
You're preaching to the choir here. We're very accepting,
so thank you.
For lack of a better term.
Thank you for allowing me to be on this forum, because the only dad I am to anybody is my beautiful husband.
Hey,
you know, and if that means that the age differences means that we learn from each other, that he corrects me on my mistakes, because God knows he's bigger. He ain't like my son. That's for damn sure. He's like my dad. We got to have that respect, whether you're a male or female, born at birth, you choose, described, subscribed, you know, just encompass who they are.
Sure.
You know,
and then, I mean, I think I've heard this a lot since I've been with my girlfriend that I'm with now. We tell each other a lot, and we say that, you know, she's my girlfriend and I'm her boyfriend, but there's been so many times where we've been like, you're a great partner. Like, and that is the biggest term, because you can be boyfriend and girlfriend all day long, but if you ain't partners at the end of the day, if you are not a legitimate, cohesive team, it ain't going to work.
Amen. And you would think people don't want to tear that about. People look at a beautiful bridge. They go, oh, look at that beautiful bridge. Nobody says, I want to tear it down. But when people look at a beautiful relationship, you know, and I think,
people of our generation are teaching acceptance to our children way more than the generation before us taught it to us. So I think, you know, I mean, it sucks that it takes a long time to get there, but I feel like we're working towards a place where people have to get better, right? You know what I mean? They have to get better over time, and that's kind of how I feel about it. You know, there are some things that people do that aren't for me, you know what I mean? But guess what? I don't care what you do. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? As long as you're a good person and you're authentic, that's all I care about.
I mean, you look at Outlaw Josie Wales when there's the meeting between I'm 10 Bears.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know it's a Western. That's like an old man with a cowboy hat. Back in my days. But when he says, I'm not offering you anything that you don't already have. I'm offering you the ability to live and for you to give me the ability to live. The words in my whatever are solid gold, so are the lead in my pistols. You choose. Yes. It will be life. I mean, if you're not giving of life, you sure don't want to be a taker of it.
That's right. God, that makes me want to go back and watch that movie now. One of my favorites.
Man.
I love it.
Isn't that great? God bless him. Tim Sampson, one of the biggest parts of Big Mountain Fudge Cake was Will Sampson's son.
Okay.
And to hang out with Tim was hanging out with, a person who looked like Will, but and have that wonderfulness. And every once in a while, he'd go into Will's voice and he'd be scared the hell out of me.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, again, an old film, but at times of distress, the Western influence of things, the black hat, the white hat, not everything is black and white anymore. You do have that gray, to exist. But why exist in gray, man? It just distorts every color,
Absolutely.
Color, primarily.
Yeah, he's got all the color tattoos. But Jonathan, I got to ask you about another film that you were in. So this was actually a remake of one of my favorite films that me and my dad used to watch growing up, and that was Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
And I very much enjoyed the reboot of it. What was that like, playing the so-called bad, like, Native American?
Again, to be a part of legendary films. I mean, I did True Grit. I did Magnificent Seven, which was amazing, and that it was history.
Yeah.
There's two things. One was there was a stuntman who was the original one.
Okay.
It was 60, which was great. They did just as many stunt falls plus one more to land all the stunt falls. And just to be amongst those A-listers, man, was amazing. We're talking legendary. I mean, to be working opposite,
Denzel.
Yeah.
Denzel. I mean, I can't even get the word out.
Got to reunite with Chris Pratt. That was cool.
Yeah. And to be in true form. I mean, I had dialogues in the film. Of course, dialogue didn't make it. But to be that nimicing creation of a native person in a white society being a badass.
Yeah.
People always say, "Oh, Jonathan, you played a bad character." I wasn't a bad character. I was a good employee.
You were.
And there's things that Antoine Fuqua did was amazing, because when Mr. Bogue says, "Nondanale, bring me a ruthless group," at the end of the movie, when he pans down the line, it's all white people.
Yeah.
And I went to Antoine. I said, "Thank you," because when he goes, when Denali went to get bad people, he got the worst people possible in his mind.
Wow.
And when you see Denali, he's got the hair scalps on his side. Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh, he scalps people." I said, "No, he's an Apache scout, which he turned against his own people, trying to help. Only feared Geronimo.
Yeah.
The scalps that he had were of his family. See, this is where acting really helps. The scalps he had were of his family, not of anybody he took. There's a period where you protect your family so much, and your family means so much to you that, you will squish another family to protect yours.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
And that's where Denali was. He had no family. He had no one except the acknowledgement from a bad guy. Again, bad face. He's untouchable because he has no family. He has nothing. What's so untouchable about him is that he has nothing you can hurt. Yeah. Sometimes nothing can be a real cool hand. So in Magnificent Seven, you were dealing with a character that had nothing. And one of the best things about the show is that I got to choose who I got to kill.
All right.
People would come to me, "Hey, man, I remember Denzel, Mr. Washington, when I first met him, He's sitting there with his shoes. I'm showing up all badass, you know.
Yeah.
And Denzel looks up, tosses his head. Damn shame I got to kill you. My response was, you can try. By that time, we were separated. We're like, Jonathan.
That's great.
You know, so it ended up being, I got to kill Vincent D'Onofrio's character. And if you remember, Vincent,
I loved that touch.
yes, he was a scalp punter.
That was such a good touch.
He was a scalp punter.
Like,
and that's what I said.
you liked his character, but
Or
in
get
the
killed by
end,
him. Yeah.
he deserved it, you know?
Right. I was kind of disappointed with the fight at the end. I mean, Denali should have lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Our rehearsal fight was much bigger, you know. Great story on that one. I'm working with another native gentleman, and badass, awesome actor. I don't want to use his name because I don't have his permission, but awesome. I ended up cutting him with a rubber knife during the filming of that one fight scene. It was a rubber knife that had the little seam on it, and actually sliced off his eyebrow with a rubber knife.
Oh no.
Yeah. Which he replies, damn Apache cuts me with a rubber knife. Yeah. So the next scene, this young man is so strong. He picks me up and throws me through a wall, through a window. That's why I think the fight was shortened.
Yeah.
Because after that, we're always like, this guy's serious. Because I mean, as an actor, it's like sports. It's okay. You got this one. Now it's my turn.
Yeah.
You know, but to work on that is just, you know, to work on anything is amazing, but to work on something as classical, you know, as Magnificent Seven, and then work with A-listers, you know, amazing. I saw Vincent the other day. I try to do Comic Cons, but I'm not having a whole lot luck. So I went as a guest, you know, paid to get in, and I saw Vincent, and he was very nice and said hello to me. So that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, any film, your family when you work on the film.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like a family you're never going to see again, though.
I get that though, because it's like, it's like that even, with our, blue collar jobs, I feel, you make friends with the people you work with, because it's like, it is a second family. It's your second home. It's your second family. And, when you switch jobs, as much as you like to say, I will stay friends and this and that, more times than not, you don't, I mean, you see them, you'll stay in touch online and whatnot. And,
I mean, even me and Mike, we didn't talk for what, probably 2-3 years until, I mean, we like stay in touch a little bit, but we didn't become like good friends again until like 2 or 3 years after I left Perfetti. So,
and when working with celebrities, you kind of have that, oh, I'm your friend, but as soon as it's over, it's like, how do you say hello to somebody that is like famous? You know, without kind of intruding or feeling, I mean, if you have a mechanic that's a friend, every time you see him, you want to say, hey man, my car's doing this sound. Would you mind?
I get that.
Again,
I love hearing that though, because we're the same way, because we're to us, we're a lot of professional wrestling events we go to and see people we see on TV and we look up to, and it is nerve-wracking. You never want to disturb somebody or be that person, that annoying paparazzi-esque kind of piece of shit.
I talk about A-listers. You say wrestling, honky tonk man.
Oh yeah.
A-lister, man, to me as a kid. Hang out with Honky Tonk, working with him, Yep.
That's his Intercontinental Championship right there.
Yep.
Yes.
And you're going to have that for life, too.
Yes, sir. Nobody take that one from me.
Right. I just want to bring a Honky Tonk because I say Denzel and all these other people, and I don't give credit to people that I grew up with,
Yeah, for sure.
Huge wrestling fan.
He's going to beat Honky Tonk's record at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost there already. I'm almost a full year of having it. So, I'm working on being the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Yeah, and then if you lose it in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. The story on that, how he did that was amazing too. It's great. Yeah.
Did you say you were a huge wrestling fan?
Yes.
Oh,
I go back to Wahoo McDaniels, Tully Blanchard, the gorgeous Gino Hernandez.
Okay.
I mean, gorgeous Gino, Tully Blanchard, Ivan Putski, the Polish Bauer.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Better yet, what is it? The Bushwhackers.
Oh yeah.
Crazy bastards.
Oh man, getting to hang out with those guys are like amazing. You know, Honky Tonk does stand up, and he brought me on to do 5 minutes. I'm on stage for 30 minutes. He's like, boy, you need to get the hell off that stage. Yeah.
Hold on, Honky Tonk is stand up?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, he's great. You got to look. He's got a side to go on the road, man. He's
I
behind
gotta
the
see
scenes
this.
stories. Yeah, and then to tour with him, he was like, I love this goddamn beer is too much here. Opens up his guitar case, right? It's all full of Coors Light, you know.
He drinks well, then. That's my
Yeah,
Of course
man.
it is.
Yeah, and people are giving him money to hit them with the guitar. I love it. I mean, what better job than that?
Right.
There was a thing on YouTube that I think got taken down from 10 years ago. A friend of mine is a stuntman. His name is Aaron. Can't fuck his last name. A stuntman. So we're at a convention one time, and he tells me, "Hey man, I'm gonna do this thing on YouTube when I get put on fire." He goes, "You want to put me on fire?" I said, "Would I?" You know, and I think they took it down on YouTube because I was like, you know what? I'm doing something I've always wanted to do. I'm setting a white man on fire. I can.
Yes,
Dream
next.
come true.
You want to cut off
Could
my
you do
scalp?
that now?
Or
I'm not
something?
sure. Would I try? Yes, but you know, and it was great. It was a great stunt because I mean, he got work because of it. But
Yeah.
it just anything in that wrestling realm it for me is so entertaining. You know, because I mean, you love sports.
Yeah.
You know, but I love acting more than I do sports. So why not act like a sportsman? You know?
Absolutely.
It's an interactive sports play. That's what I
Yes.
think. You know what I mean? And it's you know, I love a play when somebody gets on the stage and I really believe they're that character, and that's exactly what wrestling is. But
Yes. So let me get this right, group of dads. So we are all in favor of sweaty men grappling each other. Okay.
Absolutely.
In their
Yes.
underwear.
Yeah.
And their underwear.
Yes.
You knew where I was going with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
we hear it all the time.
Yeah. I know.
So
I had to go with it. Sorry. Like I said, I'm newly gay. So these
Hey.
jokes that are old.
So how long have you been with your husband?
But almost going on 2 years.
Okay.
Going on 2 years.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much. I mean, it's a great relationship. I get to order off the senior menu, and he orders off the child menu. So it's great.
There you go.
Yeah.
You don't got to
And if
pay
I'm on
full
the bus,
price for shit.
he's my associate. You know, what's that?
Come again?
Yeah, he's from South Carolina, so English is not his first language. We listen to East Coast rappers, man, and Barful. I'm like, what the hell is she saying? Beautiful. Barful. You know, and
Glorilla.
yes, exactly. Yes. And then I saw her, and what did I say? Barful.
Oh, she is both.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, and I'm getting everything I deserve because at 60, there's not a lot of stuff I can still do that I used to do before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this young man is like, I remember when I could do that over and over again. And I'm talking a buffet, by the way. I've seen this man eat a buffet like you won't believe. I mean, as you get older, you can't sit down to the table and eat as much as you want. You know, you find yourself, you know, at the end having to have a high fiber diet.
Sure.
You know, you go to a sexy buffet. I mean, you go to a buffet and you end up eating broccoli.
Yeah. You know, I had chicken and broccoli today for lunch. You know, you gotta watch what you eat.
Okay. All right, honey, we're having chicken and broccoli later.
So I gotta ask, wrapping this up with questions that we ask every time. But before we get to those, I gotta ask for me. You know, I know you can't give us like story spoilers as far as King of the Hill. I know you have your NDAs and whatnot, but can you give us any glimpse into what we're going to see John Redcorn deal with this year? Are we going to face the
Well, I mean, there's so right. I mean, if I say anything wrong, I mean, God, I mean, they may not hire me again. Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want you to do anything like that.
If I say anything, they may not. I may not get an invite to this table. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm not part of the cast. So what are they threatening me with? Taking my land? I don't have any. From the point of view, it's what would Hank do, man? That's what makes me so happy for the fans, is it's putting King of the Hill and for me in a position of asking, what would you do when you come back home after 10 years? Do things change? Do things stay the same and you're the person that changes? Do you change at your core when you're gone from home, and when you get back home, having your core changed, does that mean nothing's really changed but you? How would Hank deal with life? I'm happy to say that I'm very happy that John Redcorn's there. I don't know if things have changed since Johnny passed away. But John Redcorn is dealing with new situations in his life. Is there still a remembrance of what they used to be like in the past? Nancy and John? Of course. There is a connection between the past and the present.
Okay.
And I think the last episode I did for them, I would tell you that I'm overstepping my boundaries, but I think it would be ridiculous if they didn't step on board, because who doesn't want to hear about Redcorn, Texas?
I feel you.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I mean, anything worth putting on a shelf, right?
Yeah.
Is something you put a life onto. Anything on the shelf, you open it and you pop that top, it's nice and fresh. John Redcorn and the idea of being a Native person has been put on a shelf, has been put on a can. The first image in a motion picture was a Native person dancing.
Yeah.
The first image on film, a Native person dancing. If you were to put on film a Native person dancing today, it would do just as good as it did back then.
Yeah.
To be Native, to be human, is to be put on a shelf. We are ready to reopen and be as fresh as we were when we were stored. That's what being human is about. Our shelf life is beyond us.
I love that. Really
so,
do.
Man, happy to be a part of the show.
We thank you.
Looking forward to seeing somebody there at the show when I go, and honoring my dad.
Absolutely. We'll definitely be on the lookout for anything you're doing down there at the show. Hopefully we see you getting to ask some questions, and maybe we'll see some videos you making some money shining some shoes. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I'm telling you, man, it just, we've got a gig on the end of the month there in Austin as well. I'll be doing a little stand-up, doing a little singing. I'm going to put my shine on. If it's not on your shoes, it's for my dad and to the universe and for my fans.
Hell yeah. Love that.
So,
well, Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on, man. We are right at about our hour.
Well, my husband and I say thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello, husband.
Yeah. Well, it's past his bedtime. I can let you go.
So before we go, we got real quick, small questions for you.
Yes.
And the first one, Mike will ask you. Mike, go ahead.
Us dads are very budget-minded individuals, and as such, we like to, judge our guests, on a certain criteria. One of those being, what do you keep your thermostat set to?
My thermostat? 69.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes. That's the perfect answer, Mr. Josh. And then Big Rig is going to ask you the next question. Big Rig.
Right on.
What, just in general, just something that you're thankful for in your life today? Just something that you think to yourself, you wake up and you're just like, man, very thankful for that.
Broken treaties.
Okay.
Broken treaties. Love that.
Yeah. That being said, boys, you got anything else?
No, I think I'm good to go. Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute honor having you on here. This is something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. This has been wonderful. So thank you so much.
Man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Well, as always, we have been the DWO Podcast. I am Big Rig Eric Maffey. He is Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. He is the Wrestling T-shirt guy, Bo Cephas, and he is the one and only Jonathan Joss. As always, you can check us out on all the socials at DW_podcast, Facebook at the DWO podcast, TikTok at DW_pod. Like, subscribe, listen, follow, get that dad merch at Pro Wrestling Tees and T Public. And until next time, Top Dads out.